Welcome to We Learn, Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 27 of Let's Learn English. Passive voice. Passive voice or action performed. Structures to be used in passive voice are be form verbs, that is MR, was, were, will be, plus third form of the main verb ed or en. Now, when do we use passive voice? Well, this structure or passive voice is used to speak about actions done without mentioning the doer or the performer. As we have learnt, to make a sentence, we need a subject. And subject is the doer or the performer of the action. But in passive voice, we mention the action, but we need not mention the performer. If we have to mention the performer or the doer, we do so at the end of the sentence, not in the beginning, like in usual case. Begin the sentence with the performer. Like he gave a lecture. But in passive voice, we will avoid he in the beginning and we will say a lecture was given by him. So the object comes first. Let's look at some of the examples. Orders were issued. No doer, no performer. We have no performer here, but the action of issuing the orders happened. How to indicate that action without indicating the subject, the performer of the doer? So then we take help of passive voice. Orders were issued. Ramayana was written by Valmiki. Here we have mentioned the doer or the performer, but at the end. First we have taken the object. Valmiki wrote Ramayana. Ramayana was written by Valmiki. Helping verbs that are used are is, am, are, was, were, will be, has been, have been, had been. Modal verbs like can, should are used with be. Can be, should be, must be, could be, has to be, have to be, had to be, used to be. This can be done. He can do it. He is the performer. He is the subject. But here we have not mentioned he or any other performer. Simply we want to indicate that this is possible. This can be done. Printing used to be done by hand. Earlier, people did printing by hand. Okay, so we have not used any performer here. We just want to mention that this action of printing was done by hand earlier. The man could not be saved. Could be, could not be. Who could not save him? We have not mentioned. The rescue team could not save the man. Because if we want to say this in active voice, we have to have a performer. We have to have a subject. But in passive voice, we don't have to have the subject or the performer. We can indicate just the action. The man could not be saved. Why to use passive voice? Well, there are reasons. It is not without reasons that we use passive voice. We use passive voice when we don't know who the doer performer is, or when the action is more important than the doer or the performer. A man was murdered last night. Performer not known. We don't have a subject here. We only know of the action. A man was murdered. Who did it? We have no idea. So we can't possibly say this sentence in active voice. Until the police finds the murderer, we will not know the name of the performer of this action of murdering. Hence, we have to use passive voice. A man was murdered last night. Curfew was imposed by the police. Now, curfew was imposed. This is a very important action. It doesn't matter if we don't mention the police. Okay, but here we have mentioned curfew was imposed by the police. In this, action is more important than the performer or the doer. Hence, we have used passive voice. How to say actions that are happening now? Passive voice in continuous tense. To indicate action done in continuous form, we use structures is being, are being, am being, was being, were being. This will be the continuous form of passive voice. So, to state actions performed in continuous form, being is added with is, am, are, was, were. I am being treated by Dr. Acharya. That means the treatment is going on and Dr. Acharya is treating me, and in passive voice we will say I am, because am is the helping verb to be used with I. This is in present tense, present continuous tense. So we have to use ing form. So being provides the ing form, treated by Dr. Acharya. The main verb is treated. AC is being repaired. That means at this moment, this action of AC being repaired is happening, is going on. House was being cleaned in the past, but the action was happening in continuous tense. Somebody was cleaning the house, active voice, but the house was being cleaned. That means the action of cleaning of the house was going on. It was in the continuous state. Tickets were being sold in black. That means the movie had not started. The tickets were still available, but they were being sold in black. Who was selling them? We don't know. We don't know the performer. So we have to indicate this with the object by bringing the object in the front position. Tickets were being sold in black. That's all in this session. Thank you. Happy learning, we learning.